What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Healthier Choices Management. I want to go over the 10K that just came out as well as the 8K and break it down on what they're truly saying, and especially in regards to the whole spinoff. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So my apologies on the delay of this. Clearly HCMC isn't on my radar all the time, but you can kind of see a couple of documents were submitted, one of which was right here. So the 10K that came out March the 27th, so that's their 2023 annual earnings. And then aside from that, a couple 8Ks. So I wanted to also spend a lot of time on this 8K because that does and is involved in that spinoff. But getting right to the annual earnings first and foremost, especially when it comes down to any company unveiling their earnings, I like to look at sales, cash, things along those lines, just to give you a good overview of things that you need to know. So starting off, 55 million from grocery sales. So I think generally speaking, that is fairly good. 89% increase from the year prior. Of course, that's one thing just looking at the sales, but you have to look at how much in relation did the expenses go up. So definitely, I think they are improving slightly operationally, because I have been relatively hard on them in the past, saying that they're burning through quite a lot of cash, blah, blah, blah. Technically, they still are burning through quite a lot of cash, but they are improving. So again, glass half full kind of scenario, but ultimately they did have 32 million from G&A, so relatively high. So if you factor everything in, they did lose 17.9 million in 2023. So again, you can kind of factor in that goodwill or not, but still they are burning through quite a lot of money. And so this does lead me to my next point based off of this, how much cash they physically do have right down here. So at the point of December 31st, 2023, they had $5 million in cash. So that's not good, my own opinion. I don't really like to look at total assets because I like just the short-term aspect of cash. So 5 million. So if you kind of go back over here, they're burning through roughly about 3.5 million, arguably, from operations every single quarter. So with right now, Q1 technically concluded, they have burnt through most of this money. So it's a very sticky, very sticky scenario, because they recently did announce some money that is going to help them to transition and do the whole spinoff. And that is also what this 8K right here is all about, which is very problematic. So most likely they will need to dilute in the next quarter and a half just to fulfill their basic operations of HCMC. So again, something to consider. Of course, with HCMC sitting at very crappy of a price, they will need to do another reverse stock split. And so far in its history, they have done quite a lot. So 2010, 2013, 15, and 16. So it's been a while since they've done a reverse stock split. So once again, they will most likely need to do that in 2024. So definitely will add a hell of a lot of volatility to the bottom line for HCMC. But what does that mean for the whole spinoff? Well, technically, looking at 8K documents, or sorry, S1 documents, there hasn't been any update since February the 13th. Like I've already brought up in previous videos, I've already encumbered all of this. But scary aspect is that this new 8K that came out right here, just to give you a good overview of this. So this 8K that came out on April the 11th, or I guess the amended one, shows this. So I do look at, especially under this channel, EVs quite a lot. And a lot of startups are forced to go with loan sharks to essentially borrow money, because that's what they need, right? So based off of this, it does look like they did cancel or terminated their existing obligations to purchase HCMC Class A common stock. So what they're going to be doing is they're now going to be doing warrants. And so these warrants are probably, before the whole IPO is even started, that I can almost guarantee is going to be the death of HCWC. Of course, any stock on any capital market will be able to constantly dilute and just kick the can down. But before HCWC is even on the market, this is going to be so damaging to it. And so ultimately, the lower the price of the IPO or HCWC is, the more shares that are converted of the series or the Class A common stock. So ultimately, they've already stated many risks in previous one of these S1 documents is that they do anticipate that the price is going to go down. Initially, they wanted a IPO of roughly about $10, but they've already diluted quite a lot. I think this did happen tail end of last year or something like that. They're already tacking on a lot of future debt. They're already tacking on a lot of future dilution. So in reality, they are intending for it to IPO around $10, but in all honesty, it probably will open after all said and done, after a month, probably at $2, if anything. And so, like I said, these warrants, the lower the price, the more shares that are converted, which is so much more destructive. So one way to essentially pay these off is to do more toxic loans. So it is a very vicious cycle. I've seen many countless EV companies go this route, one of which is very notable is Faraday Future, and they are this close to being delisted, getting knocked down to OTC and pretty much bankruptcy, virtually. So ultimately, this is one of the most craziest death sentences to any IPO company before it's even on the market, which does completely signal what I've been saying. HCMC and their management do not know how to run a company. As I've previously brought up their histories, they are full and riddled with failed companies and just them taking a lot of money in obviously stock-based compensation and cashing out. So it's a very crappy scenario, and it's still for those of you that are really hoping for HCWC to work out, or maybe are just very optimistic about that. I really hate to do these videos because it is just, I don't know. And plus, on a side note, a lot of people might not be very privy to what these warrants truly do mean. So someone might just read this, oh yeah, they need money for HCMC, so the whole spinoff, so around $2 million. Yeah, that's fine. But they don't really know the ramifications, what is going to come next from all of this destruction. So ultimately, this is just a horrific company, both HCMC and in the future HCWC. So I think, again, this is just very problematic, both on a current circumstance scenario based on the cash and how much they're burning through from here, and then in the future through HCWC. So in my opinion, who isn't a financial advisor, I would highly suggest just not even paying attention to this company one bit. And I know a lot of you might be at a substantial loss, especially just looking at HCMC over this last 1 year, or I guess just overall, just it's down. I don't think it's down 100% over this last 1 or 10 years. And like I mentioned, with all the crazy reverse stock splits, you can kind of see $40 million equivalently, that's after or before all the recent like reverse stock splits and everything. That is just insanity. So this company most likely will be doing another probably a 1 to 10,000 if I was to give a prediction for a reverse stock split, and that again will be happening in the next quarter and a half. So let me know your thoughts on HCMC. Are you still a fan? Are you still holding for dear life for that whole lawsuit, or are you a fan of that spinoff of HCWC? So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, make sure you guys take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and you get 7 fractional shares of the Mag 7. So a $35 total value. So considering you're putting in $100 in this account, pretty good return on investment. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also comment. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.